Morning. Morning. Great. You're interactive today. That's fantastic. Right. If you've just arriving, this is going to be in English today, the plenary. So if you can please pick up a headset if you need one. If you could quickly make your way to the seats, because we'd really like to get going, because we would like you to get you to your community groups on good time. Right. I know you love talking to each other. But if you could bring your attention here, that would be lovely. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I think I'll start with announcements this morning. So some of you might have walked through the hallway here yesterday, and you would have seen that there was an installation going on here. So that installation, called Home, is going to be in the theatre today, from 1:30 for an hour, and then an hour and a half, and then 4 o'clock for an hour. So please do come and just come along on the support and really take that installation in if you can. So workshops, if you haven't signed up for a workshop today, the same as usual, please just pop upstairs, or is it downstairs, and sign up. Apologies from the team yesterday. I think there was a group that turned up and there was nobody there. So the reason is that if you are going to a workshop, please sign up on the piece of paper. If you don't sign up, it looks like nobody's coming. So nobody had signed up and they'd all turned up. So, but I hear that a couple of them did meet the facilitators in the forest, so something happened. So, community groups. If it's raining, when your community groups are gathering, and I know that there's a community group that meets in the terrace, can you please just move inside and your community lead will point you in the right direction. And the French community group was rather large yesterday, so that's going to be split into 2. So just go to your normal place and that will be all taken care of. So Friday prayers today are going to be in room 515. So if you would like to join that, room 515, if you can't remember that room, just come to the front desk and I'll leave a notice there. Imad, can you let me know the time? At 1:30. So 1:30, Friday prayers in room 515. Yeah, anybody welcome. Everybody welcome. A cultural evening tonight is going to be at 8 o'clock, so that will be in the theatre, so please make your way. Oh, it's going to be here. Thank you. So you don't have to climb those stairs, you can be here. It's going to be absolutely fantastic, so please come along and support, and we need your hands to applaud, and lovely faces. There's going to be Mass tomorrow at 7 a.m. and then at 6 p.m. in the chapel. So if you haven't discovered the chapel, if you go out the front door and just look up slightly to the left, you'll see the chapel. So that's at 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. tomorrow. So before we get started, I just wanted to acknowledge that we are on our penultimate day today. And we've spent some good time together. We've had some good conversations around tea and lunch in our community groups, in our workshops, listening on the plenaries. And it stirred feelings, and it stirred friendships, and you've made friends, and you've ignited old friendships. So I just want you to take a moment just to look around the room, acknowledge the faces you know, give a smile, acknowledge the faces that you don't know, and give a smile. We're nearly at the end of our journey tomorrow. Wave, you might want to wave, you know. Some of you might not see each other again for a little while. Okay, wonderful. So wonderful conversations have been had, and I just want to take another minute, Patrick. So I had the opportunity, one of the wonderful things that IofC does is listen. And we listen actively, which means that we really concentrate on the person who's sitting in front of us. We've got the eye contact, our ears are in focus, our eyes are in focus, our whole body is in focus. You know, we're really taking everything in. And I found myself on an exhausted self sitting down, and I sat across from a lady I'd never met before. But by the end of our conversation, and I didn't say much, I found myself in tears. And I didn't understand why. But I had been moved somehow by this woman. And she was very gentle, and I sat there just sobbing slightly, and I ran off to my room just to kind of sit with myself. But just before I left, she gave me a poem, and I'm going to leave that with you. And it's about friendship. And think of somebody that you've met along this journey, or think of somebody that is a friend of yours, and perhaps this might have some meaning and something that you might want to say to them. My beautiful friend, I think you just might be the most beautiful spirit in the whole galaxy, in a sea of infinite stars. There are none even remotely like you out there. I don't know what planets aligned to allow such an incredible friend for me to find. But I am grateful for this time that allows me to call you mine. I think you just might be the most beautiful spirit in the whole galaxy. And that's by Rainbow. There's Rainbow, dear friend. You broke my heart. So over to you, Patrick.
Well, thank you, Rainbow, for that beautiful poem. What a wonderful way to start our last day together. My name is Patrick McNamara. I'm from the United States, and I'm a member of the International Council of Initiatives of Change. My first time in Caux was 1996, which was the 50th anniversary of Caux as the conference center for then called MRA. Came back in 1997. I was a co-scholar in 96. In 97, I was an assistant with the program. And I proposed to my wife in this very place. Thank you to Christoph and Marianne Sprang for allowing me to borrow your car for a day. She said yes. How can you not say yes in this beautiful place? As the rain came down this morning, I thought about a blessing that the rabbi at our wedding, I'm Christian and my wife is Jewish, and the rabbi said, the rain is an omen that you will have fruitful lives. I think the rain today is an omen that this gathering, this co-forum, will bear great fruit. May it be so. Yes. Before we start with our panelists, who I am so honored to be up here on stage with in just a moment, I'm going to ask that all of you take a moment to be creative. Like Rainbow was with her poem this morning, I'm going to ask you to take out a piece of paper or your books and spend about 3 minutes and 33 seconds sketching, writing a poem, maybe just thinking of a line, to imagine what global cooperation looks like. That is the theme of this final plenary. Initiatives for global cooperation. What is an image of global cooperation? The most beautiful spirit in the galaxy may be one. But you have your own image. We are going to revisit the image that you draw or write. Maybe it's a song or a short rap that you want to share. We are going to revisit that at the end of our session. So hold your image, write it down. We'll give you about 3 minutes to do that. One more minute. All right, I'm going to ask you to wrap that up. Hold those images of global cooperation. We're going to revisit that at the end of the plenary. And now it is my honor and privilege to welcome up to the stage our panelists for today. Pilar Griffin, who is from the United States. Give her a big hand, yeah! Serves on the International Council along with me and a number of others in this room. Meena Sharma, here, President of IofC Nepal. And Professor Ali Musa Ai, come on up. Very accomplished UNESCO executive, now the founding president of Afro Perspectives. So, I'm going to ask each of you to speak for a while. We're actually going to take some time for each of the speakers. We're going to go this direction and then come back again this direction. I will tell you that Professor Ali will be speaking in French. So if you need to get the interpretation, thank you, interpreters up in the booth. Go ahead and do that now. So first, over to you, Pilar.
Gracias. Buenos días. Y un saludo a todos los amigos de Iniciativas de Cambio que se nos unen por medio de virtualmente. Don't worry, my presentation is not going to be in Spanish. I was just greeting to all those Spanish speakers who are joining us mainly virtually. When I received the invitation to participate in this conversation, which it actually is our conversation, not only with Ali or Meena, but with all of you. This conversation is about initiatives towards global cooperation. And there was an opening statement. Humanity's future depends on whether global cooperation can grow. My pedagogical mind immediately responded with a learning taxonomy, a lot of questions, because this is a journey that is not my journey, it's our journey. I'm going to share immediately. We don't have time to reflect on these questions, but I want you to do your own journey. Can we define humanity? What is really our understanding of the word global? Are we ready to apply our knowledge and experience to cooperate? Can we even go to the basics of finding the etymology of the verb cooperate, coming from the Latin prefix co, together, and operare, work? people working together. And then the question comes, why do we need to work together? Your needs and my needs are different. With whom are we going to work? Do we want to work together? Do others want to work with me? Our realities are all different. Here, we speak the same language of cooperation and love. But down the mountain, do I find people who want to work with me? All these questions, I find that they are basic in order to have this conversation. The need to work together responds to one of the most basic needs of the human beings. It is a survival skill. We are all interconnected, and what affects one of us will impact others, now or in a long term. You may agree or disagree with this statement, but we are not alone in this planet. And I said you may agree or disagree because some of us work in countries or with populations who are very self-centered and cannot go beyond their reality. So the needs of others don't feel our own needs. However, in one way or another, they will come back to us. The French philosopher Edgar Morin presents the concept of the humanity of humanity. This is, we as humans are not pure reason, cold and frozen. We have emotions, we have sentiments, we feel sadness and happiness and anger, and we have wounds. Human beings are social organisms. It is in that humanity of the human being where the hope lies, and we have to find that humanity. There is where the hope to work together, the root is right there. And working together, we can address many challenges in this world. Don't you think, Mina?
Go ahead. Yeah, please.
Okay. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Pilar, for sharing that beautiful thoughts. Even when Patrick asked us to draw a sketch, I drew this. I don't know whether it's visible for you or not. People holding hands together. It's not horizontal, it's horizontal and vertical. People, I use different colors. Luckily, I got different color pen, and I use different colors. So thank you so much, Patrick, for starting the session with this positive thoughts and other things. For me, when we talk about global cooperation, I think it starts with the local connection. Whatever we do at global level, I think we need to start it unless we cannot go for people to people connection. We cannot think of the global thing. And I know that we as an individual, we did not have enough power to correct anyone, but I think as an individual, we have that power to influence the people who are around us. And I know, like in Nepal, what we are doing is we are engaging with youth and like we are creating examples, a lot of examples, and preparing a lot of role models who can work for the regional connection, global connection, and all other things. So I would like to start I would like to request the team to play a short video. It's just 1 minute, 26 second short video. No heavy words, just pictures of what we are doing in Nepal. Okay.
पहिला आफू चेन्ज हुन्छु अनि फ्यामिली त्यसपछि समाज अनि देश हुन्छ पहिला आफूबाट गर्नुपर्छ
Beautiful.
Thank you, Naveen, for this documentation. Naveen is here somewhere. So my point here in this is that when we talk about anything, when we talk about changing the world, how can we start it from ourselves? And working under this trust-building initiatives, we learn this, that how to change ourselves first and then go beyond. Because we do have a lot of organization, a lot of initiatives back home. They preach a lot of good things. But in terms of and also they are doing good things. But for me, the difference is how can we be the person? Being and different and doing is different for me. So how can we be the person and then start the connection and cooperation thing? So this is what I want to share right now. And then I'll come to the next one. Yeah, thank you.
Great. Over to you, Ali.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. I was asked to speak in French, to make a balance, so I'm going to speak in French for my presentation. Dans cette session, nous avons...
In this session, we are invited to reflect on approaches and initiatives that could repair broken relationships and thus facilitate healing and reconciliation. I think that this conversation is more than necessary today. We need cooperation across the world, but it needs to be mutually beneficial for all of the parties. But in order to do this reflection, we need to question what I call contentious stories. Stories that we all talk about, and we need to reflect upon this. In my intervention, I would like to talk about approaches. I would like us to talk about the necessity to change stories which have dehumanized and put men and women into a hierarchy. I think that we need to reflect and think about new words, to think about how we can actually cure and change how we talk about history. Everybody has got stories. I think that the capacity to talk about stories is maybe what distinguishes man apart from the rest of human creation. I would like to talk about God, this world. We have created our world around this, but there are also mythologies too. In general, mythologies try and make sense of what's happened. These are, in general, stories that talk about what happened on Earth, stories that try and justify the domination and the exploitation of people. They also try to justify the oppression of people. But what's really terrifying about the system of exploitation is that we've created narratives that justify all of this. These are stories that dehumanize. The content has transported paradigms and stories that are bad for people. So how can we heal this? How can we heal how can we heal the past if we are still talking about stories which are bad? Also, when we look at religion and science, this is even stronger. But I think that we need to go further than just talking about how we talk about stories. We should recognise that stories is our way to resonate with each other. This is why it is still very difficult for us to move past this, even though we've taken into account the toxicity of these stories. And here I would like to give you one example, just to show you how it's difficult for us to get out of these paradigms that we have created. Could you please show the first slide? Here we have got the world map. We call it the Mercator projection. This was created in the middle of the 17th century. We could see that Europeans had discovered many places, Africa, the United States. So this is the Mercator projection. It's very useful for Western navigators. And then can you show me the second slide? And here we can see that the dimensions are actually completely incorrect. Greenland Greenland is shown here as being the same size as Africa, but that's not actually true at all. Could we please go back to the second one? You can see that when Greenland goes on top of Africa, the dimensions are not correct. These are the Peter projections. These were created at the beginning of the 20th century. And here you can see that this is a little bit closer to reality. Africa is bigger. This is a Japanese interpretation of the map. And here you can see how they viewed the world. And this is the last one. This is China. They use this since 2013. They have put China at the centre of the world, and then you can see how the rest of the world is represented. So I showed you these maps to show you how it's difficult to project ourselves in space and why we are continuing to use the Mercator one, even though it's the weakest one, it's not the most correct one. So this is another table, but I'll come back to this in a second. So I think it's very difficult to change maps. But if we really want to have equitable global cooperation, and if we are serious about this, we need to change these big stories which are not true. I believe it's necessary that we get rid of these and that we start to build together new stories that show the importance of every civilization. And for me, I believe that it's only when we start to do this that we can start to talk about global cooperation. Let me take another example. Today we talk about help with development. Well, what is this? You have got your own conception of what development is, which is Eurocentric. Then we've got the idea which is Western. Well, we should actually look at the process of exploitation which started within slavery and is still continuing today with neo-colonialism. We actually need to take a look at this process, and if we don't do that, then we can't talk about international cooperation. We know, according to the latest statistics, which continents are helping which continents. We can see that in Africa it's important that money is going in. It's 10 times more important than in other regions. So we need to try and understand problems better. So looking at UNESCO, the programme that I'm presiding over, which is about stories in Africa, we have got a colonial glossary. This is so that we can try and deconstruct all of the notions and paradigms that we already have and that we are using across all sectors at the moment, whether it's in anthropology or in history or psychology. But instead of doing a very long list of all of the words, this would be infinite. Instead, we came up with this table which helps us to understand certain terms. So to finish, I would just like to take one example from this mechanism that we've put in place, from this methodology. So let's, for example, take Africa. We can say that it's a continent of orality without significative civilization, but according to the scheme, there's the division between history, prehistory, black Africa, white Africa. We know that it's a continent which is isolated. There are some societies which are very traditional and don't have any scriptures or writing. So this idea that Egypt isn't an African civilization, it's completely crazy. We can see that people thought it was a primitive society. For example, the Yoruba's, there's a population where they have a lot of people, but I know that there are some Francophone Swiss here who know about these people, but not many people do. So there we go, we can look at the concepts and terms that we are using. And then secondly, if we have a look at development, when we talk about development, we think of big discoveries, century of enlightenment. And then we compare with countries which are developed and countries which are not developed. And then we look at liberal democracy and capitalism. And then we can see the concepts and paradigms. So the methodology that we have developed allows us to identify perspectives and then identify the categories that follow these perspectives and then talk about paradigms so that we can then identify the correct terminology to use and to express ourselves. In order to do this, we need to have global cooperation. Otherwise, it will just continually be a source of frustration, and we would continue to tell stories without the correct terminology. We need to have equitable global cooperation. I would like to thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Ali. Mina, would you like to build on what Professor Ali has said and revisit your own stories, please?
Okay, I really would like to highlight three aspects what you said right now. In terms of stories, I think in our previous session, somebody shared that every war starts with story and every war ends with story. So we as an individual, when we are talking about collaboration, cooperation, working together, shared humanity, I think we need to be very much careful about stories. As an individual, am I passing all these stereotypes, all these hatred stories to the next generation? So how can we be more conscious now? So that should be taken like very careful, taken it very carefully. That's my first thing that I think. And also, as he was mentioning about this history thing, I think like my question to you all is, who is writing this history? Usually history were written by the winners, yeah? Do you know that, like, I don't think that we read any history written by the loser and all other things. So every time the winner, the powerful people, the people who are, who has the resource, the power, they are the one who write the history. So how can we shift that history? How can we write the history of a common people? That is also very important as an individual when we are trying to, when we are talking about shared humanity and all other thing. And as we are thinking of, my last point, sorry, yeah, please stop me. Yeah? You're good, please. Yeah, okay. And as we are thinking, and thank you, Ali. And as we are thinking about the global aspect and global thing, I think a lot of things are going on here in this world. It's not that everything is khatam. In Nepali, it's called khatam, means, what is that called in Hindi? It's end. Yeah. Is everything like finish? But yeah, we do have a lot of things are going on, moving on slowly. A lot of initiatives. Even I really love that as an individual, we are following the 4 principles of IofC, you know? And can we do a quiz of 4 principles of IofC? So like as an individual, we are doing this, and I know that people who are sitting here, we also follow the principles of IofC and doing things. And also we do have some international bodies like UN agencies, and some sort of, like we all know about this Paris Agreement, how they are coming up together to talk about these climate change issues, how these UN agencies, they are talking about sustainable development goal with all these 17 goals and 100 plus indicators to talk about how can how can we make a world, equal world for us. So things are going on, and even in our part of the world, the Chinese people, they are starting this Belt and Road initiatives to connect the countries so that they can invest on infrastructures and all other things. So, and even we all experienced during this pandemic, this vaccine drive. We in developing countries or in underdeveloped countries, we did not have that resource, that expertise to come up with the vaccines. But the people from this part of the world, they supported us to survive during pandemic also. So it's not that everything is finished, things are moving on, but as an individual, we need to take care of, we need to play our own part of how can we maintain that trust, how can we maintain that energy, and how can we connect each and every individual. So thank you so much.
Thank you, yes. Pilar.
So back to our conversation, and this conversation that is actually in each one of our hearts. and listening to the importance of the narratives of how we tell our stories. And now, Mina, you also said our own responsibility. I want to share 3 specific ways. I think that we all, from our different paths of life, professionally, family life, members of a community, different communities, we have opportunities to be working together, and in this particular forum, initiatives that actually help healing the wounds. So what kind of decisions and how we use our knowledge and our power, if we can call it in that way, to create initiatives and support initiatives, maybe others have started those initiatives, to provide healing. So I have been in the field of education for over 30 years, from pre-K to college level, formal education, non-formal education, informal education, I guess is my passion. And that's why I started with all this questioning, because I am a pedagogical mediator. I do not have the answers. I do not want you to be receptors of content. I want you to be generators of your own content and your own stories. As a teacher right now, I work for a school district in the United States. It's a public school district in one of the probably most prominent cities in the state, Seattle, Washington. And I think it's very important to bring this up because it's a population, it's a district formed by a very diverse population and a population that have suffered a lot of discrimination through the years. So the school district created this program that is called Restorative Practices, SPS. And restorative practices actually opens the space for families to tell their stories. We give a space to students and families to feel that they belong. And the power of this initiative is that we are involving students at a young age, families, communities, and also other school districts. And if you're familiar a little bit about Seattle, from Seattle have come many initiatives that have transformed the world. Boeing, Microsoft, Starbucks, Amazon, we have changed the world. So I will say that even this small initiative of restorative practices could be expanded and shared with other school districts and other countries that feel that that is manageable, that we can start those dialogues. Also, a few years ago, I worked as the national representative of World Vision Costa Rica, and I was called to create an operative model that used education to heal the wounds of our children and families. So that was my opportunity to be creative, to use my imagination, and to propose classes, dialogues, trainings, and enter in partnerships, knocked all the doors that I could to find a lot of agencies that will open spaces for people also to tell their stories and to heal in their journey. Many populations, children, well, some of you may know, World Vision work with vulnerable populations that really need, spaces and opportunities. So I have been sharing all these experiences from my professional opportunities, but I also want to lower to the basic level as an individual and as a mom. I think that we all have incredible opportunities through informal education, movies, arts, games, camps. Let's use it in a good way to create connections. One of the initiatives that, the last one, I guess, that I started is called I Listen Teens. It's a group of young people, 11 through 19, from around the world that meet each other week for the last 3 years to talk about the values of initiatives of change, to listen to the inner voice, and at that early age, our young people really need spaces to listen to something else that what is social media. And that seems so basic, but that is a global initiative that works with the cooperation of many of you who have supported this program. So just to end, we all have the power to work together. We, at any level, you know, using all the opportunities that are offered for us. And one more last thought is, 20 years ago, I was here as a Caux scholar, and I was talking with my fellow Caux scholar 2 nights ago, and he said, remember when we were discussing the values of initiatives to change? Because and he knew that I was gonna be participating this morning. And you said, when we talk about global cooperation, changing the world, I said, you were very dry, and you say, that will be in another world, in another life. And today, 20 years later, I want to tell you, no, it's not in another life. It's in this life, it's today, that we can care for others, that we can love others, and that we can work together.
Right
Thank
on. Yeah. Big round of applause for our panelists today. I'd like to invite a group of singers up to share with us another song, please. Thank you. Great presentations. Yeah.
Enough. Oh no, I'll hold that. Yeah. I have to just need. Okay, I'll just need this.
Good morning, everyone. Those who know this, please feel free to join. It's called Enough. It's a song written by David Mills.
Hello. Wheat fields are turning to gold in the sun. Rivers are rising and onwards they run. Under the black earth lie diamonds and gold. The oceans hold promise of harvest untold. Taking, wasting, still we want more. Brother stops brother from reaching the shore. Those who have made it so quickly forget that many behind them are struggling yet. Isn't it strange that we don't recognize the truth there in front of our eyes? Enough for everyone's need, but not for everyone's greed. If we care enough and share enough, there'll be enough. A mother is watching her little child die, nothing to give him to silence his cry. A man passes by with a hole in his shoe. Can you feel the rain and the cold coming through? Isn't it strange that we don't recognize the truth there in front of our eyes? Enough for everyone's need, but not for everyone's greed. If we care enough and share enough, there'll be enough. God made the mountains and He made the streams. He filled them with treasures beyond all our dreams. He gave us the knowledge, He gave us the skill to care for His people if we had the will. Isn't it strange that we don't recognize and share enough, there'll be enough.
Yeah, thank you. Wonderful. I've enjoyed all of the music that you've shared with us over this co-forum. Thank you very much. The creativity in this place has a long history and a present, and I hope a future. Today, we're going to revisit your creativity now with your image of what global cooperation looks like. In just a moment, I'm going to ask you to pair up, but first, please take just a moment in silence to think about what it is that you are taking away from this whole co-forum, this being the last plenary together. What are you taking away from being up the mountain? Thank you. In the debrief, I will ask a few of you to share what it is that you're taking away. I want to revisit Gerald Pillet's opening comments about this mountaintop experience that we're having here. What puts it into practice is what happens, what initiatives are going to happen when we go down the mountain. And that is going to be my final question in our debrief today. But first, I want you to look around this room and find someone who you have not yet met or connected with. And on the count of 3, I'm going to ask everyone to stand and go find someone who you have not connected with and share with them your image of global cooperation. 1, 2, 3. Ladora, I wanted to connect with you speaking.
Parce que je travaille beaucoup en ethnographie et je suis passionné par ça. Et par exemple, les aborigènes qui viennent d'une société tunisienne à avoir le droit dans une société westminster. Et vous êtes basé où? À Paris? Et vous étiez là quand François Xavier et puis commencez François. Est-ce que vous ne devez pas proposer un workshop d'atelier avant cette année, après septembre? C'est intéressant que François Xavier ait un module sur votre mission de Xavier se dresse comme monsieur. Parce que l'année dernière, on était là avec Benjamin Stora. Et en même temps, l'autre jour, il m'a entendu ce qu'il a dit. Et les jours suivis, on s'est fixé de dire Xavier ensemble. Et on a mis beaucoup de choses. Et tout ça fait de la vie. Il n'a pas de ressources. Pas de ressources. Donc c'est intéressant. Oui, sauf que là, d'accord, il a dit plus de temps.
Let me tell you something. It will be a surprise for you.
Est-ce que vous êtes allé le voir pour le tuer?
Where I'm coming from is nothing related to technical. I'm an opera singer. Yeah, and it was my way to find out what's on the other side. And
And I think opera is so.
I will write my name.
I want-
You can find me on YouTube.
Okay. Oh, I really will.
Ça va commencer par présentation? Oui, votre
No. I want to
Just
continue.
just name on
Liliana.
YouTube.
Soon. Yeah.
Job.
5 minutes. 5 minutes more. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. One more minute, and then we're going to conclude. One more minute.
Donc ce matin, j'avais l'idée d'essayer d'organiser qu'on a 2 semaines avant le référendum en Australie, on organise dans une centaine de pays du monde et quelqu'un jure le culture dans toutes les capitales du monde, une centaine de capitales du monde, si on peut utiliser avec les nécessités pour dire à l'Australie, le monde entier est en train de devenir
Okay, let's begin to wrap it up, please. Wrap it up. Okay. I hope all of you had great conversations like I did. Thank you, Liliana, for the conversation that we had. And a huge thanks to our tech team throughout this co-forum. Let's give them a big round of applause. Yeah. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes here at Caux to make these co-forums possible. Our translators up in the booth, thank you. Elle and the whole planning team that has held us together during this time, thank you. And now, one more round of applause for those of you who are coming to Caux for the first time, who are being introduced to these ideas, especially the young people in the house. And it is, in fact, the young people, the voices of the young people, that I want to hear from in this final segment of our morning plenary. I'm going to ask if you have spoken in previous plenaries, please give room, give space for others to speak today, especially the young people. I asked us to take a moment to think about what we are taking from this mountaintop experience back down the mountain. And I'd like to ask some of the young people here today to tell me, what is it that you're taking from our time together in Caux that you will take back down the mountain? I'm going to ask you to be brief, 1 sentence, maybe 2 sentences, but keep it brief. Maybe you're taking that down the mountain. I hope I'm not sitting next to you on the plane. No, joke. So, Anyone want to share, please? Yeah, please, stand up, stand up. And if I could ask you, give me your name and your country of origin.
Hello everyone, my name is Riwa, I'm from Lebanon, and 3 takeaways for me. Together is not a mainstream word, and thanks to this forum I regained trust in togetherness because I was losing faith in working together. Second, pain in community work is inevitable, and so we shall be strong, I shall be strong to accept that pain. And third, love in that work and in that journey is irreplaceable. Yeah.
Wow, wow. Thank you. Yes, please. Stand up. Your name?
I'm Aaron. I've come from the United Kingdom and I'm 14 years old. If there's one thing I would take away, it's that I've never ever experienced 72 countries in one room. And the fact that they're all human and the fact that they all have the same experiences fundamentally means that any stranger that you meet, you should come in thinking that they're the same people. Thanks.
Right on. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's all relative. Okay, I'll be to you in just 1 second.
Hello everyone, I'm Riham from Egypt, and I'm taking the sense of sincere ownership that I saw in some models. I'm taking the vulnerable ones and the raw ones. It's first time for me to get in contact with this definition. It's really touching for me that when we work with trauma and with ones, some of them are raw, and it's a long journey to work on, and sometimes silence or distance is the word for it. I'm taking metaphors and models of a change where they just, this sense of connections with people, the model of creator of peace, and yesterday I saw a circle of women just sharing this sense of willing and ownership of the model. It was really touching for me. I'm taking my identification of myself being close to some models and being in distance with other models, and it define how we are working in variety of things, and this is how what led to the presence of pain and hope together. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Excellent. Yes, please. To you.
Merci. Je m'appelle Pélagie.
Thank you, my name is Pelagie. I'm from Burundi. For me, it's the first time that I am participating in this forum. I am very, very satisfied. I have listened to so much. I have really appreciated talking to everybody. It's been great to be able to consolidate peace on a world level, and I've really appreciated all of the experiences of everybody here. Those who have spoken in the panels, those who have shared with us. It's been great to see how we are all helping each other to heal. And it's great seeing how this is going to go forwards over the next few years. I have been trying to make a big effort. I'm trying to help other people as well. And also for peace building. Thank you very much.
Good morning. I'm Hanna from Ukraine, and this morning I was in a quiet time circle, and what came to me was that deep listening and taking steps after is scary. And being here, part of this beautiful community, and seeing so many role models and change makers inspires me and gives me more courage to become a change maker. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Excellent. Taryn, come on, stand up.
All right, my name is Taryn Ghostkeeper-Dachuk. I'm from Northern Canada, and this is my first time at Caux, so I think what I'll take from here is a renewed sense of hope and belief that the suffering that not only my people have felt, but others from around the world is being seen and it's being heard, and that solutions to that suffering are being worked towards. So thank you.
Yes, please. Down the aisle here.
Bonjour. My name is Wahad from Tunisia. I came here with a big heart and I have participated in everything. It's been great to see how we are building together with love, with empathy and with respect, and how this has been brilliant food for thought for everybody and enriching for us all. Thank you.
Hello, I'm not young, but I'm young at heart. My name is Jane from South Sudan, and this is my first time to be at Caux. And what I have learned is to work connected with one another. And one thing I'm taking from here is I met one of the IofC members, and she said that think locally, work locally, and think globally.
Excellent. Thank you. Young people up here, come on. You want to? Yeah. You're saying, come on. No. You want to say something? All right. Yeah, back here. Let's see. Lottie, okay. Even if you're not a young person, you have been a pillar in this place for so many years. Lottie, please.
What I want to say is when I was 14, I was looking down over the lake here. I was here for the first time, and I sensed a presence beside me. And I said, God, I do not know if you exist, but if you do exist, wherever that is, I want to serve you for the rest of my life. And where do you want me to serve? It turned out to be inside Initiatives of Change, but always at the calling and the obedience to what I call, in my faith, God. And now I've just turned 70, and I will tell you, life is incredible. The friends you meet, the places you visit, the things you can do together. Yes, you get discouraged, but that's okay. It's part of life. You get up, you go on. I wouldn't have changed my life for anything in the world. And Caux, I've served it for over 50 years. It's an honor. And what do I take away from here today? One word keeps surfacing: humility.
Thank you. And I want to give a huge honor and respect to all of the wise elders of this Initiatives of Change movement who have held us together for so many years. This place is a testimony to them, to the service to God that they have done over so many years. Thank you. Yes, please, come.
Hello, my name is Ibrahim Darami, Sierra Leonean born, currently live in France. First of all, I want to say a big thank you for the organizers, more especially to the cooks. It's very yeah. So what I will take from Caux today, briefly, because I had learned a lot of things, but briefly I will take the words somewhat like reconciliation, love, peace, more especially the word change, but change to positivity. Yes. I think what I will leave, not here, but maybe in the train, before we went down to to down the mountain. I will leave this word like hatred, grudge, war, all these other bad words. I will leave them here before going to France.
Nice one, nice one. Okay, I'm gonna take one more. Up here. Okay, one more. My favorite young person, Yofrina.
Hello, my name is Yofrina. I come from Indonesia. I'm part of the International Council members. So thank you, IofC, for including youth as part of the council. So youth, we are here together. That we are working together as intergenerational collaboration. So I'm so grateful for this. And for me, two takes away. Number one is I would like to continue keep practicing quiet time. I think that's how we find the source of inspiration. And secondly is about how we touch on the real issues that we are having wherever we are. Like me dealing with the educational issue in my country, how I care for my students, how I also care for people around me. I do believe that it's starting within ourselves. And so if we can start from caring for individuals and for our community, we can also care for the global issues. And finally, let's continue to pray and support for one another. Thank you.
Amen. Panelists, can I invite you please to come back up on stage? I'm gonna invite brief closing comments from our panelists, and I wanna give us time to please get to your community groups on time today. That is where the real sharing, bonding, heartfelt conversation takes place. We've had a conversation on stage, we've had a conversation with all of you today, but those community groups are so important. Please take that seriously and be there on time. Final comments. Ali, to you first. What are you taking away from this session and from the time in Caux, please?
Thank you. What I take from this session and from all the meetings and exchange that we had during these 5 days, I think we are, all of us, involved in a collective fight, in a collective combat. And I think to get out of all these narratives that divide us, that continue to harm, we should be able to construct a new, as I said, new narratives that are not founded on a paradigm of domination, exploitation. We should, how I would say, we should create together alternatives that help us to rehumanize our societies, to reconnect with our ontological relationship with humans, but also non-humans livings that are surrounded us. That alternatives that help us to what I call to build a new utopia that really reconnect with ourselves. And when we talk about Ethiopia, of course, that people think, yes, this is just a dream. But I think a dream become a reality when a critical mass of people believe in it at the same times. So I hope that from here we can go and thinking about this utopia to get out of all these narratives that really imprison and limit our vision and our cosmovision for a new humanity. What we need to build is a pluriversalism. What we call pluriversalism is a universalism that's rich of all the particularity of our narratives that we bring together and we take their communalities. That is for me a real universalism and humanism, and that is perhaps what through these exchanges we could build. So thank you. And I live here really, as said my sister from Tunisia, with hope that the change is possible and that we have to create a lot of initiative to allow that change. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fabi, I really would like to thank you for your energy and style. Oh, So, yeah. Thank you for making it so vibrant. And lovely to hear new voices and new ideas, and thank you those who shared their opinion. For me, I think I feel myself as a special person. And I know those who are sitting here, you all are special. Yeah? Don't you think so? Yes. Yeah. We are special. That's why think about the population in this world and who got this opportunity to come here to the Caux. Yeah? So we are special, that's why we are here. And I think it's our responsibility to transfer our ideas, our learnings, our skills, our knowledge to the people who did not get this type of opportunity to come here, to listen to all this wisdom, to engage with people from different parts of the world. So I think we are going with a lot of responsibilities on our shoulders, and I know that we can make everything possible. If we work together, we can save this humanity, and definitely we can bring the change and the difference in the world that we want to see. And I think that we need to think locally and then act globally. So that is my theme for this. And thank you so very much for all your contributions. Thank you.
Well, I want to tell you that be careful, because sitting here is a dangerous place. You are never going to be the same person. And whatever energy you get out of here, it's going to transform your life and the life of many. Like I said, my first time here was 20 years ago. And this experience pushed me to go all the way. I did my PhD, and I did it in the ideas of initiatives of change. It's embrace our humanity, human beings, energy, and transformation, generators of a new paradigm. So here, each one of us, we know we are energy, full of energy that we transform in a smile, in listening, in words, in actions. And that becomes a paradigm. That becomes a model to others. And that is going to transform the world. So watch out.
A final round of applause for our panelists today. Yeah. Back over to you, Al.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Can we just say a big thank you to Patrick? I had a meeting I was trying to find Patrick all afternoon yesterday, and we eventually found each other very late at night, and our plans we'd spent putting together all got changed within half an hour. So thank you, Patrick, because that was very dynamic. Thank you very much to our speakers today as well. And thank you to you all. Just before we leave to our community groups, I would like us to make a little bit of rain together. Sounds strange. But I would like you to get one finger, that's all you need, and the palm of your hand. And what I would like you to do is start tapping your palm. Tap a bit harder. A bit lighter. And the rain's going to stop. Okay, that's your IofC co-rain. And those moments when you are feeling lonely and by yourself, I want you to just tap your rain. And remember, everybody in here was making rain with you. Okay? So, dear friends, go to your community groups, and we shall see you later.